next meeting.
I don't know if you'll have to let anybody in. Or not.
I put it to full screen.
Thanks.
Yes.
Lucky you. It's recording, so you're good.
We will call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Move to roll call. Tim Cavelli.
Here.
Jennifer Jakosh here. Kathy Roos is excused. Renee Schaefer here. Kara Stavinsky here. Here and Paul Morris.
Here.
Next, we will move on to the approval of minutes from February 23rd. You should all have received a copy of those via email ahead of the meeting. Does anyone have any corrections or changes or questions about the minutes? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
So made.
Is there a second? All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
It's approved. Okay. So we have 2 abstentions. Jennifer and Carol abstained. Moving on to correspondence, we have none. So we'll move into reports from our council representative.
Yes, at the last council meeting, which was last night, in front of council currently is an ordinance for a special zoning district referred to as a planned unit development or a PUD. This is the first step in getting the property at the southeast corner of Andrews and Lakeshore, commonly referred to as Yeager's property, rezoned for a potential residential area. There's a proposal for townhouses to be built on the site. This was also referred back to the zoning committee to look at an overlay versus rezoning of that property. The next thing was fireworks. The state lifted the ban on discharging 1.4 G fireworks, also known as consumer fireworks or Class C. In lifting the ban at the state level, they also provided for the communities to enact their own laws concerning them. Council is poised to leave our current ordinances in place in prohibiting them. Council is also taking the last council meetings of July and August off for vacation. Also, the mayor reported that the MVets announced that they will not be having a Memorial Day parade this year, and no reason was given. In committees right now, in the ordinance committee is the right of way. The ordinance committee recommended that we don't change the current ordinance. God bless you. The CRA ordinance is considering legislation for adjusting the time period for the CRAs in effect, and different ways to apply it, such as staggering the length, based on the zone the property is in, or the age of the current structure. This is still in committee to discuss. We also discussed housing inspections. The current focus was on rental property. There was discussion on eliminating the city's requirement to have rental inspections to eliminate our liability if the inspection missed something major. There was also discussion of the city requiring property owner to have a certified inspector do the inspection and file a report with the city. That is still in committee as well. And I hope I didn't miss anything. I think that's it.
Very much. Does anyone have any questions? Mary Eva?
Good evening. I'll talk a little bit about the library. It was not so much strategic planning, but a focus group of what's going right, what's going wrong with the library system in general. And they had contractors come in, so really nobody that was part of the library system. They kind of were blank slate and just wanted to listen to what's working and what's not. And a lot of what I brought up is what we talked about here, and what you found out when you went to Andrew's place. It was, the library being right across the street, that they have never, they being Andrews, was never really approached by the library for programs. And also the fact that, you know, there's a meeting room there, which they don't really advertise. My 5 points being, you know, you have a great facility down there that you need to start promoting. And also for the seniors, more programs, maybe computer skills or something like that. So that's what's about it.
Any questions for Mayor Eva? Moving on to the chairperson's report. The only thing that I wanted to share with the group at large was Jamie put together this volunteer registration and availability form. I figure this is probably a good first step in figuring out can our committee start trying to do more events or do more community programs based on people's availability and their interests. So I will pass them out to everyone. And I figure, you know, once we get this feedback from all of you about your availability and your interests, that would be helpful in determining how we, you know, move forward as a board with trying to do more. That is really all that I have for my report. So now move to the section that is open to the public. Anything from the public?
Maybe hand some of those forms to council, see if anybody.
Sure.
Are you available to?
Sure.
I'll just show you the rest.
I just gave you kind of a stack there,
That's fine.
Mr. Bittner, so whatever. Oh, no, I still have the stack here. Thank you. All right, so seeing nothing else from the public, we will move into old business. At our previous meeting, we discussed the 2022 events that were coming up. The citywide yard sale is scheduled for June 9th through the 11th, from 9 to 3 p.m. And as everyone recalls, we moved this because school is getting out a week later than normal. They end on June 2nd this year. So we want to give people time to prepare for the yard sale. The trunk sale will be August 13th from 9 to 3 p.m. Permits are $5 per spot, and that will take place here in the parking lot. Fall Festival is slated for September 10th, 12 to 8 p.m. In the process right now of getting sponsorships and volunteers for that day. And we have the holiday lighting contest set for December 6th for entries, December 7th for the committee to decide the top 3, and the public will vote from December 9th to the 20th. Does anyone have any questions or comments on our old business? Okay, so we move to new business, the senior events and programs. I know we had a good discussion at our last meeting, kind of touching on that, and the consensus seemed to be starting with a table or booth at the Fall Festival to kind of showcase some of the availability of programs in our community for seniors, thinking like Lake Tran, inviting the library, different things like that, as a really good starting point to see what people are interested in the community. Does anyone have any questions or comments regarding that?
Have we already started looking at vendors or brochures that would be at that table or booth?
Based on my discussion from going to Andrews Place, Lake Tran and the library were the 2 top contenders of people to be able to provide some information
Okay,
on things. I don't know that we got as far last time as kind of starting to hammer out the finer details on who those vendors would be.
okay, but we're just looking at one table with references and referrals.
That was kind of my understanding. I don't know, Mary, but maybe you have a better idea.
In the past, the libraries come with, what's it called, mobile library,
Yeah.
Jason Lee from, they used to work with
Yeah.
Harold. They'll probably come again, and then we'll get a hold of somebody at Lake Tran to see if they'll set up a separate table.
At this table, is it okay for other groups to put out flyers?
But yeah, I think we're trying in the process of trying to figure out who would like to do that. Do you have any suggestions on who might be a good?
Well, there are many wonderful performances over at the community college Lakewood. And there is a flyer that's put out every year. I can deal with the person who's the department chair of arts.
Okay,
And we could get some of those flyers to put out. I'm sure that would not be a problem.
okay, that's a great idea.
Would those programs, Carol, be though during the summer? You know, knowing,
No, the ones I'm talking about, like they have band concerts, orchestra concerts, theater.
past September though.
They're usually during the year and Lake Tran has a facility right on the program. So it should be an easy fix. I mean, Lake Tran has that bus station right
Right,
there.
yeah.
And Lake Tran is the one who takes everybody around the campus. They've subcontracted with Lake Tran. So I would hope Lake Tran would want to make the seniors have a nice time getting to that facility. And the tickets generally are very reduced. And there's an art show. Right now, there's a women's art show with women's art. Every year they do about 4 or 5 different art shows. So someone could have an afternoon going to a theater or play a music thing and an art show or something like that. So that's out there. I know that unfortunately Lakeland does not publicize its arts very well. They put a flyer on campus and I think they assume everybody just wanted to read the flyer. Because they see it everywhere than their sign on the entrance.
That's funded through the county. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, taxpayers.
So it would be a good suggestion to the Lakeland, someone to get a hold of Lakeland, since it is funded through the county taxes, that the information that, fund,
But we don't do
things
it.
that they have going on, spread the word.
And those of
In all fairness to all the taxpayers.
those of us who perform on that stage, would like to see the audience a little larger. And the gallery does a wonderful job in the gallery. I'm sure would love to see more people coming through it. They have some really super things. It's just that publicity is not very strong. So
That's a great idea.
You could also check Wildwood Cultural Center and see if they're doing anything.
To Lake Metro Parks.
Yeah, the senior center.
Lake Metro is huge.
Yeah.
They're growing every year. They're a great organization.
yes, they do some good things. And the walking, that was something else you mentioned that they wanted to walk. There's another thing we could do, not just for Andrew's Place, but if Lake Tran would get together and people would do that, maybe Lake Tran could take seniors to one of these Lake Metro Parks places for a walk. And maybe there would be an arborist or a nature person who could do it. That would be something we could maybe do and have the seniors in the community have something to say, hey, look, we did that, and that was a wonderful trip.
Yeah, even the whole margarita,
Oh, yes,
you get to be a member of.
right, but that's why I was thinking, Metro Parks, they have some things, and there's some great places to be, on.
Lake County, they've got a lot of great programs.
It's just that you have to.
And a lot of people don't know,
Right.
Distributed information.
Yeah.
As far as Lake Tran goes, I would get. Another thing to reach out is to find out from them what programs they do drop-offs and pickups.
Well, and I'm thinking
Get
too,
flyers from those.
if you tie into the metro parks, I know at least Chagrin River, Veterans Park. And I think there's another, it might be at Painesville. I know they do a lot of kids events, but they may do senior events as well. And you can probably coordinate with that.
I know it, there's a walking group that my neighbor ran into, that she ran into them over at Veterans Park, and I don't know where they're from. But, so they go walking at Veterans Park, and if they wanted to walk, that might be a nice place, and it's not that far, if Lake Tran would do that, and maybe there's a way to coordinate it. We obviously can't pay for all this, but there may be a way to coordinate it, that at least we do the coordination, and if they want to, chip in to whatever it's going to cost for Lake Tran.
But I know too, there's like senior discount fares, sometimes insurance will cover it if they find the walking group and they can use it as part of like Silver Sneakers or something like that, it could be at no or little cost to them.
Well, then we'd have to get in touch with Silver Sneakers, but I guess follow through. So
But if that, or if that group was just an independent group, I mean, they could still schedule title ride or whatever to drop them
Right.
off at the park and pick them up.
And I don't remember what this group was. My neighbor just said she happened to be there and she ran into this lady. She said, oh, just come along and join us. So she did that walk that day. I don't know too much more about the group other than she did that. She just went for herself and found this group.
On another note, you're looking for information to put at the table for a booth for the fall fest, right?
Sure.
How about something from the Council on Aging, what they do for the seniors?
Okay.
Because I know from my time in the fire department, a lot of seniors do not know what's available to them through
Right.
them.
Does anyone happen to have a contact for them, or
Don't we,
you can just kind of cold call the
I-
main line?
Council on Aging, I can get on this.
yeah, I think we get something.
Here, had that, okay.
Don't we get something mailed to us, Council on Aging? I think.
You get a newspaper, yes.
Yes, I think I
Yeah.
get something from Council on
I
Aging.
used to work for Council on Aging. Doing Meals on Wheels.
Okay, I just
So-
thought I'd get something.
Yeah, I can get on this.
Okay, that's cool.
And they're over there by the old, across the old match.
Yeah,
I'll actually just go in there and get some information.
Yeah, that's great. Thank
And I'll
you.
tell them what it's for.
Yeah.
So they'll have some representation of the customer.
That's perfect.
I've also got some flyers for the Sub-Zero mission, which is on Painesville.
Yeah.
They look out after the homeless veterans.
Yeah.
And even when they come across homeless people that are not veterans, they will look after them as well. So we should be focused on that.
Yeah.
So I do have some flyers at my house.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that'll be good, because I know we did the donate for
Right.
Sub-Zero Mission for the holiday lighting, but I don't know that people necessarily really fully understood exactly everything that Sub-Zero does. So maybe just
Right.
providing more would get people more interested in, supporting such a good mission that, really does do a lot of good for the community. That's a great idea.
You just mentioned Meals on Wheels. Is that a separate program as well?
It works in conjunction with the Council on Aging. And what I was doing, since I was a corporate agent, I actually got hired by them, and I was actually keeping the meals, actually cooking the meals, that we would get the meals in, all the food in from the Cleveland Food Bank. Okay? And so we had 3 convection ovens, and everything would get temped prior at the delivery point. And recorded down for both us and the drivers. And then we put them in the convection ovens, get them up to temp. And periodically check the temperature. And then we would dish out the food in separated type
Yeah.
dishes. Then go into a warmer, and the volunteer drivers would deliver them to whomever was on the list, who called up, I need a.
You have to know if they have separate information from just the general Council on Aging.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah. they
maybe
will.
could you
I think
get
that
some
would-
of that as well?
yeah, I'll get all
Thank you.
It's under,
Especially if we have a lot of seniors that live in their own home still, but.
of it. They
have a hard
do,
time
and, as an example, if there's a senior who say, needs a grab handle on their shower.
Yeah.
They'll install it for free.
yeah, they have a lot of different programs. You just
Yeah.
have to,
I think that would be a good thing to advertise, even if it's not a senior come and look at it, there's lots of people.
Yeah.
They may know people.
Yeah, because we have our grandparents, or something, we have our parents.
Yeah.
That's why I thought the Council on Aging would be good.
Yeah, no, that's a good call, and I'll look at it.
That's excellent. I think that is a really good start of just some really essential services in Lake County that would be really helpful for the seniors in our community. Do we have any other announcements or anything that anyone felt needed addressed this evening? So before we move to adjourn, I would suggest that we possibly skip a month between meetings to not have a whole lot going on at this particular juncture. And I cannot actually be at the April 27th meeting because of basketball coaching duties. So I don't know if anyone had any thoughts on that. They felt we needed the April meeting, or we could wait to connect again in May. Anyone have any
I
thoughts?
have a suggestion.
Sure.
And I hesitate to bring this up because I know I can't do it very well. Has the group ever looked into summer recreation programs for kids? Such as a wiffle ball. Just let kids sign up, see if there's interest first of all, parents, having your kids come down, play a couple games of wiffle ball or kickball or something back here on the field when they're not needed. Is that possible?
No, I think we're looking at volunteer and or staffing.
Yeah, well, I had a thought about that too, John.
Okay.
Is talking to the school to find out any seniors that are graduating seniors coming up that would want community service time for that. To help organize it, coach it. I mean, it's a fun thing, not a tournament, not a
Sure.
organized thing, because a lot of kids, sounds like your kids are involved in organized sports. It's just something for them to come down for an afternoon and have some lost some steam.
I mean, I think that that's a great idea. My biggest concern would be volunteer availability from this group to coordinate, say, high school kids. I know from our experience with recruiting high school volunteers for PTA, they're not always terribly reliable, and they'll commit to something and then they don't show up or they can't be reached. I also don't know the rules around like watching other people's
Right.
children and playing with football together, you know, so I mean,
Liability.
yeah, for
Right.
sure.
But
mean-
it's something to think about.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea and you'd love to see more of that, even just seeing more kids getting out and playing on the playground here, you know, I talk about it all the time, we have this beautiful playground area, you know, it'd be lovely to see more kids doing it. So I think it's definitely worth something looking into.
Because honestly, I
sure.
believe the kids are so much into organized sports, they forget about the fun of it.
Yeah.
To get out and play, and with wiffle ball, and I don't know if any of you folks played it when you were younger,
We did,
but we played a lot of
we
it.
did that, we flew kites.
And you could have kite flying contests. Stuff like that.
We got the room for it.
Yeah, there's a lot of simple things that we could do with the kids. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like we're focused more on seniors, and I understand that, because I'm getting closer to being one.
No.
Yeah, I think that's because this committee was so focused on the young people
Yeah.
that this came up, that's how the seniors, it has
Got
been the whole time I've been on.
But I'd like to see if we can find out if we can do that.
Sure.
And if we can't, what can we do about the can'ts?
I mean, and realistically, this is the Parks and Recreation
Yeah.
Committee for the entire community, not one
Right.
segment of the community. And
Right.
as a younger person with a family, I would like to see more family oriented things in the community.
And it might be worth just asking at Lake Elementary, if we could send a questionnaire home with the parent, the students, staff, and parents, would you be interested in something like this?
Sure, I know Mrs. Wines would be really open to that. I will say we have very low response rates for the school surveys.
Sure.
And for PTA events and helping out with that type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of response we could get, but I know that Mrs. Wines would probably be more than okay with.
Or even set up a survey on Facebook, through the city's Facebook page. Any one of those,
Yeah,
to try to find out if there's no interest in it, there's no need to pursue
Right.
it. But if there's interest in it, then we have to find out the liability concern.
Sure.
That'd be something
Is
that
there less liability if we include parents? Say,
possibly, but I don't think you're gonna get parental participation, not during the day.
yeah, I mean, that's tricky with people working. I know for PTA events, we let people know like you need to stay
Yeah.
with your kids. We're not like a drop and watch service.
Right.
And most people are really great about it, but you do have people that try to treat
And the-
PTA events like a drop in babysit service, unfortunately.
The other thing I'd be concerned about is getting too many adults into it, because then you're stuck wondering, what's the motivation behind that adult's participation? In today's society, I'm afraid it's not like it was when I was growing up, and adults didn't have to be involved. We kids took care of our own.
Well, yeah, that's part of the problem with softball leagues.
Yes,
The parents, hey, that's my Johnny out there, you know?
let the kids come out and have a good time.
And that's what the basis is, just have a good time.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just escapes.
But you know, you brought up kite flying.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Now,
But you got two great fields.
I'm sure there's other events like that that are hobby type events. Like, do you remember flying balsa wings?
Oh, yeah.
Airplanes, just
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
remember those?
paid a nickel more for wheels.
Well, I think maybe that gives us an opportunity to do some investigation and just everyone maybe on this board think about like our own availability for doing things like
Right.
that and kind of helping coordinate that. And then maybe if we're able to wait a month and come back together in May, that would be a great discussion point and give us a chance to investigate some of what you mentioned liabilities and kind of figure out how do we try to even see if this is a feasible thing to do.
I got a question. I don't know if the city, other than the schools, having a basketball court, would it be feasible to have a basketball court? Say like where the old playground used to be?
Well, there's one at Lake Overlook.
Okay,
There's one at McMinn. The cost of that, we'd have to look at.
okay, I'm just throwing that out.
I'm gonna throw one more thing out, a movie night.
Talk about
We
that.
have,
okay?
A
I
lot.
know the concern is the expense. That's sponsored from a local business.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I really like that idea. I think that we need to first probably have all of our board people and our volunteers maybe share their availability and their willingness to be canvassing businesses for those sponsorships and doing that legwork to get those things
And
going.
as I work on the car show, probably piggyback that on top of.
I would be happy to
And
coordinate.
I know somebody that's got the equipment. to do it.
And that has always been the biggest challenge is the
Equipment costs us nothing.
equipment needed, yeah.
So it's just a matter of, I know during the summer months, it's too late when it gets dark enough to project the movie.
Yeah, unfortunately,
But we're talking maybe early fall when it starts to get a little cooler.
yeah.
Might be a good time to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to be swatting mosquitoes with trying to watch people.
No, we're drinking pop or anything like that. And depending, I mean, there might not be any interest in it.
Yeah.
But then again,
There could be, yeah.
I mean, I could see something like that developing into a community picnic with a movie afterwards.
That's a great idea.
That,
We have this beautiful space for it,
Yeah.
so it's just, being able to organize that and, kind of get past some of those hurdles that.
Right.
come up.
if the group's interested, I'll work on the sponsorship.
Is that something that everyone wants to maybe think about and get
It's
back
something
with
we think
Paul
about.
when we connect again?
Here, did you ever, I know I had mentioned this to you before about a mural of some sort on the south side of the salt barn. Yeah, since this is where I'm getting at, since we're gonna have the festival there, it'd be nice if we had a nice, somebody to, so hopefully donate some time and whatever to. That would be really nice to look at, sure, instead of the very long.
Something to think about. Yeah,
So
but
I
again,
know-
it's, the cost of
Right.
Did you
somebody
think
or-
about,
donating.
going to one of the art schools and see if those kids are, you might find more willingness there to do it? It might be a project.
That's a good, well, we find arts.
Well,
Well,
I
and
was
I know
thinking Clayton Institute of Art and, because in other countries, you go and they do paint all that stuff and it's sort of interesting. So I think we probably have a segment of young people that might be interesting.
That's something.
I know too, some of the high schools will do different things in different cities. They'll do the fire hydrants. East Lake has done the snowmen, like there's a myriad of different things.
Sure.
I don't know that if it's too late or not for the high school, but we could always approach their art program to see about their art department, design a mural, and then we select.
Because like our backyard looks at that,
Right.
not that it's a bad thing, but let's use the space.
Yeah.
Since we're gonna have the festival there, let's say have this nice, if we can. So, yeah.
Well, it doesn't even have to say mental. I
No,
just-
but anything affiliated with Men on the Lake,
It
Lake
should say
Erie,
Men Are Lake,
Lake Erie, the car show.
because there's still a lot of people in this community who don't understand, we're not part of it. So it should say Metro.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Doesn't have to.
It should, because it's our,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you show what's in it.
well, that will incorporate everything, yeah. That's a big space.
I haven't thought about that.
I think that's a really good idea. So are we all comfortable with skipping April and connecting again in May? Okay, so what would the date be? I apologize, I don't have my phone in front of me to see what the May date would be.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
25th?
25th. So is everyone comfortable with connecting again on May 25th? Okay, so we do need, so say
I
now,
make
do
the motion, we do that.
we have a second? Okay, all those in favor of skipping the April meeting and meeting again on Wednesday, May 25th at 6 PM, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, so we will plan to meet again on Wednesday, May 25th at 6 PM, same location. And we will adjourn at 6:30 PM. Oh, no, we didn't.